Introduction. Enlightenment is an 18th century intellectual movement in Western emphasized reason in science and philosophy and the study of human culture and the natural world in the Philippines in mirror the Filipinos' desire for reform. So this was the boosted with the spirit of liberalism when the Philippines opened its door to world trade at with the coming for a liberal leader in the person of government Carlos Marias de Torre. So there were three principal leaders for the propaganda movement. They were Jose P. Rizal, Marcelo H. del Pilar, and the Graciano Lopez Jaina. Here are the highlights about them and that they are done for our country. So first we have Jose Putracio Rizal Mercado Alonso Rilando was born on June 19, 1861 at Colombo, Laguna. He died on December 30, 1896. Popular was known as Dr. Pio Rizal. Studied at the Ateneo de Manila, he started medicine at his UST and finished at Universidad Central of Madrid. He also studied at the University of Berlin, Leipzig, and Heidelberg, and he also have 12 written books. So first we have the Noli Me Tangere. This was the novel gave spirit to the propaganda movement and saved the way to the revolution against Spain. Noli gave Philippines literature the immortal character Maria Clara, Juan Crisostomo, Ibarra, Elias Cesa, Filosofong, Doña Victoria, Capitana Maria, Basilio, and Crispin. So, Noli Me Tangere in 87, the first edition of Noli was published in Berlin, Germany. To express his gratitude, he gave the original manuscript plus the bloom he used to Viola. Rizal also signed the first print of Give It to Viola with dedication. Noli Me Tangere was created for power to fuel the people's desire for change and liberation. The book itself is a fictional story, but it contains the hidden truth about the corruption and abuse by the colonial government and the Catholic Church. Dr. Jose Rizal, second novel. El Filibusterismo. This is a sequel to the Noli while Noli exposed devils in society. The Fili exposed those in government and church. However, the Noli has been dubbed the novel of society while that of Feli. So, El Filibusterismo was derived from the Spanish word filibuster in English, means obstruction in the historical context. Filibuster refers to a person who engages in authorized warfare against a foreign country. El filibusterismo represents Rizal more nature judgment on political and society condition in the island. It is graver, less hopeful tone reflect the disappointment and discouragement which he had encountered in his effort to lead his way to reform. This novel is dedicated by Rizal to three Filipinos press, Mariano Gomez, Jacinto Zamora, and Jose Vargas was had executed in Bagumbayan on February 28, 1872. So, sa Rizal third he wrote the novels is Mi Ultimo Adios. This was poemed by Rizal while he has incarcerated at Fort Santiago is one of that can compare probably with the best in the world. It was only after his death when his name was affixed to the this poem written by Filipino propagandists and written by Jose Rizal before an execution by firing squad on December 30, 1896. The piece was one of the last notes he wrote before his death. Mi ultimo adios, my last farewell, was Jose Rizal's final testament of his love for a country he felt was being trodden underfoot by intruders from abroad. So next we had the Sobre la Indolencia de los Filipinos, or on the indolence of the Filipinos, an essay on the cold Filipino indolence and an evaluation of the reason for such allegation. So, Sobre is Indolencia de los Filipinos is a social political essay published in La Solidaridad in Madrid in 1890. It was written by Jose Rizal as a response to the accusation of Indio or Malay indolence. He admits the existence of indolence among the Filipinos, but it could be attribution to a number of reasons. Next is the Filipinas dentro de 100 años, or the Philippines within a century, an essay predicting the increasing influence of the U.S. in the Philippines in decreasing interest. So, Filipino dentro de 100 años was published in 4 installments in La Soledad, the organ of the propaganda movement from September 1889 to February 1890. 19 here Rizal, who had mounted the first challenge to the colonialist view of Philippines history. Rizal tracing the circumstances that brought about the awakening of the Filipino and consequently the birth of the Filipino spirit of nation. So next we had Allah Juventud Filipina to the Filipino youth, a poem Rizal dedicated to the Filipino youth studying at UST. Dr. Rizal is a message primarily to tell the importance of one's love and appreciation to his dialect or language, for it is the bridge and intermediary connecting people, country to each other. In the poem, Rizal praised the rising generation. A la Juventud Filipina is a poem written in Spanish by Filipino writer and patriot Jose Rizal, first presented in 1879 in Manila while he was studying at the University of Santo Tomas. So next is the El Consejo de las Dioses, the Council of Gods, an allegorical play manifesting admiration for Cervantes. So, El Consejo de los Dioses, the Council of Gods, is an allegorical play written in 1879 by our national hero Jose Rizal. It was first published in Liceo Artístico Literario de Manila, Renew in 1880, latterly in the Soledad in 1883, and December 19,000 in this Western trade translated in Tagalog. Next is Junto al Pasig, beside the Pasig River, written by Rizal when he was 14 years of age. The Philippines national hero wrote it in honor of the Our Lady of Peace and voyage of the UST, and the play was staged on December 8, 1880. Next is Mi Piden versus You Ask Me to the Birds, 1882, and Las Flores de Heidelberg, or To the Flowers of Heidelberg. 2 points manifesting Rizal's unusual deep emotion. In 1882, shortly after his arrival in Madrid, Rizal joined the Círculo Hispano-Filipino. Upon the request of the member of his society, he wrote a poem entitled Mi Beden Porsos, which he personally declaimed during a New Year Eve reception of the Madrid Philippines. Next is Notas a la Obra Sucesos de las Filipinas for el Dr. Antonio de Morga. So, Notas la Obra Sucesos de las Filipinas for Elder Dr. Antonio was published on 1868 in London, and another English translation by Blair and Bernstone. Next is the P. Josento Memorias de un Estudiante de Manila, or P. Josento Memories of a Student of Manila. This is the student memoirs of reminiscences of Jose Rizal. He wrote in from 1879 to 1881 when he was around 17 to 20 years old, when he was studying at the University of Santo Tomas, and it narrates his memories of being away from his family to study in Manila.
Good morning, ma'am, and good morning, classmate. I am Japar E. Kudarat, a second-year BSIT student. So I am the second reporter for Module 6. So first, Graciano Lopez Haina. Graciano Lopez Haina, a most notable hero and genius of the Philippines. Graciano was born on December 18, 1856, na anak ni na Placido Lopez at Maria Jacob Haina. Si Graciano Lopez Haina ang naging unang tagapagtatag ng La Solidaridad noong 15 ng Pebrero 1889. Namatay si Graciano sa Charity Hospital in Barcelona on January 20, 1896 at the Fried of Charo, Iloilo. He wrote 100 speeches, which was published by Romeo Garcia, former bookstore owner of Manila Pelatica, and which are still read up to now by modern Filipinos. Graciano he left the Philippines in 1887 with the head of Don Claudio Lopez, his rich uncle, in order to escape punishment from his enemy and arrive at Valencia, the center of the Republican movement of the Spaniard. He moved to Barcelona where he established the first magazine La Solidaridad. This became the official voice of the Association Hispanos de Filipinas, a Filipino-Spanish association composed of Filipino and Spaniard who work for reform in the Philippines. Ang ibig sabihin ng La Solidaridad ni Graciano Lopez is ang naging pangalan ng isang samahan ng mga Pilipino ilustrado sa Espanya na naghahangad na magkaroon ng representasyon na ang Pilipinas sa Cortes Generales. Ito rin ang naging pangalan ng opisyal na pahayagan ng samahan na itinatag noong Disyembre 13, 1888. So let's move the work of Graciano Lopez Haina. Una, ang Prayer Botod, one of his work in Charo, Iloilo in 1876, 6 years after the Cavite Revolt attacking the prior in the Philippines. He exposed how some of the prior were greedy, ambitious, and immoral. So ang prebutod ay tungkol sa isang paring Espanyol na ginagamit ang relihiyon upang apihin at abusuhin ang iba tao, like Filipino. Second is the La Hija del Priel, the child of the prior, and everything is humbug, everything is mere. How explain the tragedy of marrying Spaniard? So Lahi del Priel, ang akdang ito sa maling pamamalakad ng pamamahalaan ng Espanya at maling sistema ng edukasyon. Yan po, iyon ang ibig sabihin ng Lahija del Priel. Ito ay samahan ng pamamalakad ng maling sistema. Number 3, sa mga Pilipino, a speech which aim to improve the condition of the Filipinos to become free and progressive. So, sa mga Pilipino, isang tagumpating maglalayang mapabuti ang kalagayan ng Pilipino na mahalaga, maunlad at may patatag or ipatanggol ang kanilang karapatan. Next, number 4, talumpating pagunita kay Columbus, an oration to the commemorative Columbus, a speech he delivered in Madrid on the 39th anniversary of the discovery of America. Number 5, in honor del Presidente Moraita de la Asociación por Filipino. Here's the Pres. Jean Moraita for his equal treatment of the Filipino. Number 6, in honor de los Antistas Luna Y. Resurrection Hidalgo, a sincere expression of praise for the painting of Hidalgo on the condition of the Filipino under Spaniard. Number 7, Amor a Hispano of the Alas Juveniles de Malolos, love for Spain to the youth of Malolos. School and those teachers were government and general of the place. Number 8, El Bandolerismo in Pilipinas, banditry in the Philippines. Haina reputed the extensions boundary in the Philippines and how there should be law on robbery and the other reform. 9. Honor in Filipinas, honor in the Philippines. The triumphant explosion of Luna, resurrection and Fardo de Tavera of the thesis that intellect or knowledge give honor to the Philippines. 10. Pag-alis sa buwis ng Pilipinas. 11. Institution ng Pilipinas. So let's move on to Antonio Luna. Antonio Luna was a pharmacist, was banished by the Spaniards to Spain. Antonio Luna also joined the propaganda movement and contributed his writings to the La Solidaridad. His pen name was Tagaylog. So, nag-join siya pero ang ginamit niya na name niya was Tagaylog. So, ang contribution ni Antonio Luna ay si Antonio ay isang opisyal na army general na lumaban sa digmaan Pilipino-Amerika. Siya rin ang nagtatag ng kauna-unahang akademyang militar sa Pilipinas. Antonio Luna died at the age of 33 in June 1899. He was put to death by the soldier of the Aguinaldo because of his instant rise to fame which became a threat to the Aguinaldo. So Luna, some of his work were Noche Buena, two de Libertine, three La Tertulia Filipina, four for Madrid, five La Casa de Hospedades. So ang ano dito is parang siyang Spaniard term ng mga words niya. Let's move on. Mariano Ponce. Mariano Ponce became an editor-in-chief, biographer, and researcher of the propaganda movement, used Tikbalang, Kalipulaka, and Naning as pen names. So ang ginamit naman ni Mariano Ponce sa pag-join niya sa La Solidaridad is ang pen name niya is ang Naning. So ang si Ponce, ang contribution niya sa Enlightenment is isa siyang Pilipinong manggagamot na naging pinuno ng kilusang propaganda na hinimok niya na mag-revolusyon ang Pilipinas laban sa Kastila noong 1896. So, Ponce among his writing were una, mga alamat na Bulacan o legend ng Bulacan. So, there is the indicate definition, contain legend and folklore in the native town. 2, pagpugot kay Longinos. 3, sobre Pilipinos. 4, ang mga Pilipino sa Indochina. So, last is the Jose Maria Panganiban. Jose Maria Panganiban was born on February 1, 1868 and died on August 19, 1890. Jose Maria Panganiban hid his identity behind his pen name Jumapa, also known for having a photographic mind, member of a number of movements for country. Jose Maria Panganiban, the contribution of Jose is he is the one of main writers and contributors for La Solidaridad written under the pen names Jumafa. So ang ginamit din ni Jose Panganiban pen name is the Jumafa. So that's my end our report. Next reporter will be Mr. Mark Kasan. Thank you.
I am a Module 6 reporter, Andres Bonifacio. Andres Bonifacio is best known as the father of Filipino democracy, but more than others as the father of the Katipunan because he led in establishing the kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangan katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. Andres Bonifacio came from a poor family and it is said that what he learned he got from the school of experience. Kilala si Andres Bonifacio bilang ama ng demokrasyang Pilipino, ngunit higit sa iba bilang ama ng katipunan dahil pinangunahan niya ang pagtatag ng kataas-taasan, kagalang-galangan katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. At saka galing din si Andres Bonifacio sa mahirap na pamilya. Emilio Jacinto was the intelligent assistant of Andres Bonifacio in the establishment of the Katipunan. He is called the brains of the Katipunan. He edited Kalayaan, a Katipunang newspaper. Bonifacio withdrew his writing of the Cartilla in Differenciato Jacinto's work as Secretary of the Katipunan. Si Emilio Jacinto ay matalinong katulong ni Andres Bonifacio sa pagtatag ng Katipunan. Tinawag siyang utak ng Katipunan. Apolinario Mabini. Apolinario Mabini is known in literature history as the supreme paralytic in the brains of the revolution. He was born in Talaga, Tanawan, Batangas on July 22, 1864. Because he was born of a poor family, he had worked in order to study. Kilala sa panitikan at kasaysayan bilang dakilang paralitiko at utak ng revolusyon. Ipinanganak siya sa Talaga, Tanawan, Batangas noong Hulyo 22, 1864. Dahil pinanganak siya sa isang mahirap na pamilya, kailangan niyang makapagtrabaho upang makapag-aral. Jose Palma became popular because of his hymno national Filipino, the Philippine national anthem, which was set to the music by Juan Felipe. He was born in Tondo, Manila on June 6, 1876. Naging tanyag si Jose Palma dahil sa kanyang hymno national Filipino na itinakda sa musika ni Juan Felipe. Pinanganak siya sa Tondo, Manila noong Hunyo 6, 1876. So, that's all. Thank you.